understanding and the contemplation.
Contemplation? Yes.
Is there anything else you suggest so we're not so pulled by the gravity? Sometimes very heavily.
Yeah. Well, you can ask yourself, what is it that is being pulled by the gravity? What is it that is being pulled down? But you have to pose this question and stay with that question, stay open with that question. Sort of, there has to be a certain innocence in the question, an interest in the question, and the willingness to offer everything that is required to the question. Whatever the question requires from you, to give it. Any question that you pose with a willingness to give the question everything you got is a good question. Where there is a willingness to surrender body, mind, wealth, health, everything, whatever is required, is the way to pose that question. What is it that is heard? What is it that is attained? What is it that is being pulled down? This sort of question is a spacious question. It is so spacious that is open. It is open for everything. It is not a question that is focused on a specific answer. It's a completely open question. And the openness of this question is a sort of a hint of what you truly are. Because every experience that you have, the experience of being pulled down or sometimes of being pulled up, every experience that you have occurs to you in the openness of your true nature, of your true self, the openness of consciousness. So whatever question you contemplate, you have to be willing to give it all you got, because it's in giving all you got that the freedom of your true nature is revealed. There is nothing that happens to you. There's nothing that is personal, because you are universal presence. Within this universal presence that you are, there is a personal impression. But this personal impression arises to you as universal presence. This personal impression does not reveal what you are, because what you are, which is the presence, the aware presence, does not need to be revealed. It knows itself as itself. It is the reality, the only reality. Reality is this open presence, the open presence of awareness, of consciousness. That you are, that is. And that does not appear and disappear. Experiences appear and disappear. The ups and downs appear and disappear. Being pulled down appears. Being released appears. And then you might get pulled down again. Then the release has disappeared, and now the being pulled down has appeared. And then being pulled down disappears, and being released appears. All appearances and disappearances are phenomenal events, mind events, that appear to and as and in the open presence that you are. The open presence of consciousness, of awareness, that hears these words right now. Right now, this, whatever hears these words is this open presence, this borderless open presence. Is nothing that happens to you. So, attempting to save the me is believing that the dream character is what you are and is real. It's like you are sleeping in the night dream, and you dream that there are people outside coming to steal in your garden. You have tomatoes, they're coming to steal your tomatoes, and you're very worried. So you get up and you run, you close the fence, you call your brother or your sister, or to come and help you to chase them away if they come, you see. And then your brother or your sisters don't answer the phone, and so then you go to your neighbor, you knock on your neighbor door, you're dreaming it's somewhere in the Bahamas. You knock on the neighbor door and say, oh, there are people coming to steal my tomatoes. All this, the characters appearing in the dream, the tomatoes, the thieves that are coming, your brother, your sister, all of that, these are dream characters. You're trying to save the tomatoes, or trying to make sure that the thieves are not going to come to rob your garden. It's a dream. And the more you do it, the more it seems to be real, but it's a dream. Because there are events that appearing and disappearing in presence, like in the night dream. The dreams appear and disappear in you. And you wake up, and then you have breakfast, you go to work, whatever you do, The next night you go to sleep, and you're dreaming something else. Now you are sailing a boat, down in to Corsica, on Côte d'Azur, right in the French Mediterranean. It's a different dream. Now in the waking state, which is different from the night dream, the waking dream, the waking experience, has more of a continuity. There is less Bahamas and less Mediterranean sailing and so on. Yes. Less Bahamas. We wish, right? We wish. So there is a seeming continuity in the waking dream, in the waking state. But that continuity has two phases to it. The main aspect of the continuity is the continuity of consciousness, the continuity of presence, the continuity of awareness. because it is you awareness, that same awareness that this morning woke up and had breakfast. It was you. And you who drove here, whatever, let's say on 495, it's you who were on that 495 driving, that same awareness. And it's you right here, that same awareness. That's what's consistent. The consistency is not 495. It's not the breakfast you had this morning. It's not this room. It's the consistency of consciousness. See? That's what's consistent. And the forgetfulness is, in the night dream, is more than in the waking state. In other words, in the night dream, you wake up, maybe you remember 2% of your dreams. Well, some people remember more, but you remember a little bit of your dreams. Oh, I think, yeah, there was a mountain, there was Bahamas, but you don't remember much. In the waking state, you remember more. Oh, yeah, yes, yesterday, I went shopping, I bought tomatoes and salad and lettuce and whatever. You remember. But still, in the waking state, you remember very little bit. Because when you were driving on 495, there were cars that passed you. Do you remember the blue Audi that passed you? You don't. And you passed some other vehicles on 495. You were there, you passed them. You served them and you passed them. Do you remember the truck that you passed? It was a big truck. Do you remember the name on it? Do you remember the license plate? Because you saw the license plate. You don't remember. So it's the same quality of remembrance and forgetfulness in the waking state and in the night dream. Except in the waking state, there is less forgetfulness than in the night dream. So there is an impression in the waking state, more of a consistency. But it's always the consistency of consciousness, because it is consciousness that is ever present. From ignorance, we mistake the consistency to be the consistency of the world and the consistency of me. There is an assumption. There is an initial assumption that I am this personal body-mind, that I, as consciousness, am this personal body-mind. And that identification, that belief, is maintained throughout the senses. In other words, the senses perceive outwardly. And so the impression that there is an inward perceiver and perceiving an outward world is easily maintained in ignorance, because through the senses there is that reinforcement of this impression. So the consistency that is given from ignorance is the consistency of the separate self and of the external world. So the reality from ignorance is that, oh yeah, I am real and the external world is real. What we fail to see is that we're eternally perceiving our perception. We perceive our perception. We don't perceive a world out there, we perceive our perception. And our perception is not out there. You see? And our perception, which is made out of ourselves, it's not out there, changes. Yeah. It changes on the surface. It changes the colors of the leaves were green, now they're yellow, brown, or maybe there are no leaves. But there's one thing that does not change. It's me, I as consciousness. Bodily sensation change, the world changes, thoughts change, memories change. Yeah. But the I of consciousness does not change. That is what is eternal and consistent. So why do you worry yourself about saving yourself from being pulled down by gravity, while you as consciousness are not a form, are not an object? You are worrying about an object. Do you worry about the tree when the winter comes and the tree loses its leaves and the leaves fall down?
No, but I worry about my tomato.
You worry about her tomatoes.
Okay, for that.
Well, if you want to worry about your tomatoes, you can worry about your tomatoes. What can I say? I don't want to spoil your party.
Yeah, I get it. I think it's just things like tomatoes that prove that's the gravity.
Yeah,
Things
yeah.
I
It's,
put more
yeah, it's
attention, I think
being identified as a me. That's what you need to contemplate. What am I truly? What am I really? Am I a woman? Am I a mother? Am I a daughter? Am I a sister? That's what you need to contemplate. Or does womanhood or sisterhood or motherhood appear to me as thoughts, as bodily sensations, as memories? They appear to me. What is the me? Is that a female or a male me? Female and male appear to me. Well, in your case, female appears to you. In this case, male appear to me. But what is the me? That's what you need to contemplate. What is my true nature? What is it that's real in my experience right now? Right now, am I a female? You have to go to memory and say, oh yeah, I am a female. We have to look and say, oh yeah, I'm a female. I'm a female. But right now, right here, what is it, a female that's hearing these words? Or is it just the purity of consciousness? Well, we use the word consciousness. It's just hearing. You see? See, contemplate your experience, the reality of your experience, not the colors and shapes and shades of your experience. What is the reality of your experience? And you will come to consciousness. The reality of your experience, and you are not two. You are the reality of your experience. Without you, what is your experience? Yeah? Without consciousness, what is this? Wow, what would this be? See? Consciousness is the reality of experience. Everything we know through consciousness. And as consciousness. Through consciousness and as consciousness. It is consciousness knowing itself as this experience, as this.
Does consciousness need a body to do that?
Does a consciousness need a body to know itself? Consciousness knows itself directly. What is the body?
It's temporary.
What is the body?
It is sensation.
What says that a body is sensation?
Consciousness. Body.
So you have to slow it down. Slow it down. We say body as the mind knows what a body is. Huh? I mean, body. What's a body? Body is a sensation. What's a sensation? What is a bodily sensation? Go to it. Go to it. Really go to it. What is a bodily sensation? But to be really open to these questions. Very important questions that dive deep into the question. At the mind level, there is a lot of stuff, a lot of knowledge. But it's not real wisdom, it's stuff. To be willing to dive deep into those questions. But coming back to your question, no, consciousness has no needs. It's the mind that is needs. Needs is a mind conversation. When I say mind conversation, I mean like a limited self-conversation, like in the assumption that I am this separate mind and external world, so I need, in order to safeguard myself, whatever this myself identity is, you see. So the whole body of conversation around needs is mind conversation. Consciousness knows itself directly. It never ceases knowing itself. The mind says, wait a minute, I don't get it. I don't know myself as consciousness. What is this? What is this talk about consciousness never ceases to know itself? It's nonsense. I don't know myself as consciousness. Well, because you're not. Because you can't, the mind cannot know itself as consciousness. You can't know yourself as consciousness. Consciousness knows you as itself. But the mind tries to suspend. It's a dream impression. Spin that I, as the mind, want to know if consciousness knows itself. But I'm not privy to this party. Is that the right expression? Privy to the party? I'm not privy to the party. The mind is perceived and does not perceive.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that present tense, but I guess extending that idea to the future when there's no body, there's no brain functioning, that as it's
Right.
experienced now.
Yeah. Well,
then where is consciousness there?
Yes. Understand. So the death of the body is constantly occurring. So the body is constantly dying and rebirthing. It's dying and rebirthing moment by moment. Scientists have already proved that that matter is just freaking energy. It's just dancing. It's 99% black space or something, whatever, or 80% black space and 20% other matter, and they say we don't know what matter it is. Maybe we're looking for the matter, so we'll find the matter, we'll put the pieces together, and we'll tell you that in the end it's a freaking magic show. So I would trust science more than I would trust Mama and Papa, who told me, hey, you are this body, I mean, I love my Mama and Papa. I'm saying that, their knowledge is limited compared to those scientists that spend years and years studying the phenomenal world. So the body is constantly birthing and dying.
It's constantly
Birthing and dying. Now the mind says, no. What are you talking about? The body is born on such a date and dies on such a date. Right? But what would the body be without you? What is the experience of the body without you? So the body is known via you, right? Via you as consciousness. So to really know about the body, you have to go to consciousness. the boss, what really knows the body. So you go to consciousness and you ask consciousness about the body. Ask consciousness, is the body, where is the body right now? Where is the body right now? Ask consciousness right now, what is the body? Ask. I'm not saying ask thought. I said ask consciousness, meaning your direct experience. There is no body.
Let me bring up something. I was reading John Klein once, and I just recall an excerpt from an answer he gave to someone. He said, "The thing is to knowingly be consciousness, knowingly be consciousness conscious of itself."
Yes.
But then he said, in order for this to happen, it must happen prior to the death of the body. And I don't know what it means.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's confusing.
Yes,
to me
yes,
what
yes,
you said.
yes. In a way, this dream is our laboratory for awakening. So this dream, what we call living, the life of the body. So Jean-Claude talking about the death of the body. This dream is our laboratory for awakening. So if you want to, like, sometimes people ask, what is the meaning of life? That's the meaning of life. Meaning of life is to awaken. And you always have life. You know, you can awaken whenever you choose to. You can awaken now, or you awaken. You're always awakening now, anyways. You're never awakening tomorrow. So you can awaken now. Awakening now is the release of the mind, the complete release of the mind. Meaning all the stories, all the structures, all the beliefs, all the notions, all of them. And the light of consciousness. So in terms of before the death of this body, meaning within this realm, in some rare cases, I would say that not that I know of, actually none that I heard of, so I'm going to take this back. I was going to talk about this, the night dream. In the night dream, it is possible to carry on the exploration, the contemplation. But I don't know. Actually, I take it back. Yeah, right. It's 24/7. Even in your night dream, there is an opportunity to awaken. Yeah, there are. I've heard of a sage who died in his sleep. Actually, Francis told me about that. Somebody that he knows that died in his sleep, and he woke up awakened. He woke up awakened, and he died in his sleep. I'm getting off your question. So the meaning of being knowingly, aware, being knowingly aware of itself knowingly. It has to be realized in this lifetime. It's always in this lifetime. The life is the laboratory for awakening. I want to go some more into your question, Jeff. So in deep sleep, there is no body, right? I mean, there is no world, no body. There's just in the dream state, there is no body, no world, but there is the mind. Right? The mind, the images, thoughts, trees, but they're all images. In deep sleep, there is no world, no body, no mind. Yes? So you know from your direct experience, no body, the experience of pure consciousness. Not knowingly, like Bob was saying, it's not knowingly knowing itself, but it is the experience of pure consciousness. Because you wake up and you know, whatever the you is, you know that you had good deep sleep, or you were in deep sleep. So the you that knows is the you that was there, that was there during deep sleep, that therefore says, oh yeah, it was nice deep sleep. So that's consciousness or awareness being without body, without world, body, mind. So it doesn't need the body to really know itself. Now, knowingly, though, is a different thing, because as soon as the world, body, mind comes on board, then there is a forgetfulness of what we truly are, and we're back to, I am this man. That's my wife, that's this, and that's that, you do this and do that. We're back to me, I am, and the world is real. But as you're contemplating the reality of consciousness, then more and more the reality of the world, body, mind thins out. It's sort of, it's there, but it's not as the density of it diminishes, and it diminishes until awareness becomes more sort of louder than the world, body, mind. Yes, yes. And in the contemplation, you know yourself to be aware. You know that you are aware right now hearing these words. So the you that is aware is awareness. Because only awareness is aware. Objects are not aware. Only awareness is aware. Whatever is aware is aware. Whatever can be aware is aware. Whatever is endowed with awareness is aware. What is it that is endowed with awareness? Awareness itself. Not a body. A body is perceived as a memory, as an image, as a thought, as body is perceived and forgotten. Like right now, you forgot your body. You see, the perception of your body isn't there right now. Why? Because we're more or less, we're in a conversation. See? But the mind says, oh, but the body is here. And so the mind brings the body as a thought back on board. It says, oh, I mean, wait a minute. No, I'm here sitting on this chair, so I'm this body. So the mind brings the body back on board, which is okay. Because mind is a conversation. And what we're having too is a conversation. What we're having right now is a mind conversation. But there is it's a trick deck. It's a trick deck. There is a trick in our conversation. Because in our conversation, there is a hook. Okay? It's like it's just a line being thrown to hook the fish. And the fish is ignorance, really. Trying to hook ignorance. But coming back to the mind brings the body back on board. But in time, as you're contemplating, what is the reality of your experience, the mind's habit of bringing the body, the me, whatever, back on board weakens, because there is less and less interest in that. It's like there is some sort of understanding that of what the mind is, that is constantly in the business of maintaining itself as I, this body, which is mind conversation, is the reality. You see, I know it might sound like really crazy to you, but the body is a concept. It's 99% concept. And let me put it another way. The body, what we refer to as body, is pure consciousness. Anything that you refer to is pure consciousness. The mind comes after consciousness. Consciousness is the only reality. So you say a tree, you say a field, a country, an ocean, or it's all consciousness. Consciousness never experiences anything but itself. The mind creates the myriad things and believes them to be real. Consciousness sort of allows the mind this game, but consciousness knows that there is only one reality as itself. So the mind's attempt to bring back on board the routine of the body, I have to be careful with it. Whatever the mind brings on board, just slow it down. Be wary of what the mind brings on board, because the mind operates in concepts, in labels, in objects and things that it is a dream. Because in your experience, when you look out, you don't see trees. It's always consciousness. And then the mind says, oh, trees and Annandale and make this house, blah, blah. But your experience, right now, directly, you're not seeing Magdi. It's, you're really seeing yourself, if you want to say it. You're with yourself. Your consciousness being with itself. Consciousness never leaves itself. The mind comes on board and sort of has a different conversation. And it's important to discern this conversation so that it doesn't steer you away from what you are, what you truly are.
Yeah, I'm just thinking that many times I think it's easier to use the word awareness than consciousness. I can remember I had a big problem with consciousness for a long time. What is consciousness? So as I was sitting in this chemo in the infusion room and felt hooked up to a machine, feeling these chemos coming in, or I would be sitting at home like this for hours, feeling, in a sense, this body. But the next thought that comes, what is it that feels the pain in this body? What is it that feels the infusion of this chemo coming into my blood vein? It's my awareness. I'm aware of the body receiving these infusions. Right. Aware of the pain in my body. So it can't be my body. I'm the awareness of this body. This happened over and over. It was very clear, So many times I think awareness is also very good, a present awareness, because it's happening right now. This present awareness is even a better word to use sometimes than consciousness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And more and more comfortable with the idea that all experience from the mind's perspective, from that perspective, all experience is temporary, fleeting, transient. glass. You can't, but the mind tries. You know, tries to capture, tries to hold on, tries to quantify, measure, conceptualize, whatever it can to make something feel lasting. And so I can see those things, and from that vantage point, especially sitting here on a Sunday, you know, from that vantage point can be very clear that that is something that is experienced, and what experience is it? A clear, present, aware, conscious. But that's something that you can't form a concept about. You can't describe. You can't quantify. You can't measure. But you can't deny it.
You can deny it, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
But I guess, you know, my brother-in-law was staying over yesterday, and we were talking a little bit, and somehow the concept of the brain came up. And that's where the interest in that question first arose. Started this. And also reading a lot of music about it from the horizon. One of those books I read, it seemed to say over and over again, you know, it may have been a translation thing too, or what I know. Something about, but consciousness needs an apparatus, needs.
Well, you know, Nisargadatta uses the term consciousness totally differently than I use it. He refers to consciousness as the mind. He uses awareness as consciousness, and consciousness as the mind. So that's I often warn people when they're reading Maharaj, actually when you read him again, just keep that in mind, that he uses the term consciousness as I being conscious, I as the mind, you know, the world body mind. That can be quite confusing. But you know, that for awareness, I'm going to try to use awareness now as far as I remember. Now, awareness is not located in any apparatus. Or you could say that, you know, that like gasoline fuels a car and makes it run, that awareness fuels everything and makes them run. If you want to use that metaphor, it's still like, you know, it's still gross sort of metaphor, that awareness fuels the galaxies, the cosmos, the glaciers, the weather, thought, the digestive system, the brain functioning, etc. You could use it that way, but you know, it's a limited usage of the metaphor. But definitely to sort of have the idea that awareness is located in the brain or is located in the body turns awareness into has borders, has limitations, has forms, and therefore it creates the multiplicity of awareness. So therefore, there are multiple awarenesses, and so the multiple awarenesses brings us back to multiple realities. You know, there aren't multiple realities, and we already went through that. We don't need to go through it again today. Maybe next time we will. Now, on the other hand, you could say that well, there are separate minds. There are different brain functionings and different perceptions. You know, you perceiving perception A, meaning you, meaning this body mind perceives perception A, perception B, perception C, and there is a different angles. So there are different minds, multiple minds, but one awareness. So that is more. More in accordance with our experience. That in our experience right now, you're not perceiving the lamp behind you while I am, and I'm not perceiving, you know, the light switches behind me while you are. So the mind perception mind A and mind B are different, but that does not imply that awareness is different. You see? So when you say when through mind A points to mind B that there is a light switch behind, and I see it. What made this communication possible? Because if mind A is particular to brain A and mind B is particular to brain B, there are two separate forms. So if they can communicate, then what is it that makes them communicate? So we're back to yes, infinite minds, but one awareness. And I often use the metaphor of electric current. The electric current in the house is one electric current, but there is a light bulb here, a light bulb here, a light bulb, etc. But this one current that is turning on all these light bulbs. Actually, this light bulb is off, but in the kitchen, the light bulb is on. It's that one current that is sort of bypassing. Here it's dark, it's night, and over there it's day. Actually, it's true because now it's still day here, but in Paris it's night. Well, maybe next time we go over, because I feel there is one more question that we haven't addressed, which is, what is it that dies? Because there is this question that when the body dies, does consciousness die? Consciousness means, does awareness die? Does awareness die? When the body dies, does awareness die? And so when you go to sleep, okay, when you go to sleep, when you go to bed, the world quiets down and the body quiets down and they dissolve in sleep, and then the dream, the mind goes on traveling to Bermuda and the Bahamas and so on. Yes? And then at some point, even the mind sort of subsides in deep sleep. So in a way, the extinction of the body, the death, or use the term, the death of the body, is the world, body and mind sinking into the ocean of awareness, dissolving in the ocean of awareness. But awareness does not need the world, body, mind to be awareness. The body, mind, world need awareness. And there are endless world, body, minds. Endless. Actually, right now, there are endless world, body, minds. So,
Do you have time for another question?
yeah.
We talked a lot about mind, but I'd like to ask about the not knowing. Throughout this period, I've had some insight into that. I realized that most of my life probably, have set up all kinds of strategies, all kinds of ideas and belief, what life is, what life makes comfortable. And so when all this has unraveled now, as all of it has unraveled, the mental structure set up, all the strategy and the planning and the various things seem to have us unraveled, because whatever I did, I got cancer anyway.
Yes.
So what's left then when you let go of that, these mental structures of what life should be and what I should do to make it safe and sound and pleasant.
Yeah.
So you're kind of left with this not knowing. And furthermore, you're left with, seems to me, this knowing, not knowing, moment to moment, not knowing. Because at any moment, there's something can happen. And so, in some ways, it's very uncomfortable, not knowing. But anyway, I don't seem to be left with much mind. At least certainly not all the strategies that I put in place to make life safe and sound and comfortable. So, if you don't have to say anything about the not knowing.
Yeah. You see, the mind has all these strategies and all these plans and to serve me and to serve the fictitious self, the imaginary self. And so it's full of knowledge, and of course it follows path A, it doesn't deliver the goods. It follows path B, and oh, that's unhappy too. It tries path C and doesn't work. It tries path D, oh, things are working better. Oh, D, and so I have to adjust it a little bit, then adjust it there. Oh, go through a divorce. Okay, I was not doing, but something else. I met somebody else. It's so things seems to be working, and then suddenly, boom, a big rug is pulled off from under my feet, and I go, whoa! All that mind stuff now is being
deconstructed.
Yes,
or
deconstruct.
fall apart.
It's
Crumbles.
it's crumbling. And I'm left with not knowing. But this not knowing that you're left with is still of the mind. Is behind this not knowing, there is still a desire to know.
No, I mean, not. I wonder, not really. It's rather nothing to hold on to, actually. Not knowing then for me is, here I am, open and available to whatever happens, but no, really, there's nothing to know, because whatever the mind knows turns out to be a...
well, but you see, there is nothing that happens.
Yeah, nothing ever happens anyway. I agree with that too. I feel that too. Nothing really happens.
So when you're open for
no
whatever happens,
no need to experience it.
What are you open to? I mean, when you're open for something, for whatever happens, you see, you are openness. You are the openness. See, that's already happened. If you want to use the term "happen," you are the openness. You are the screen, and not whatever is arising on the screen. So the screen doesn't even, it's not even in the realm of knowing and not knowing. It doesn't give a hoot about knowing or not knowing. What does it need to know? It is everything and everyone. It is the reality of everything. Does it need to know itself? It is itself. You don't need to know yourself when you're yourself already. See? So in the not knowing, when you're left with not knowing, notice what is aware of this not knowing. Not knowing as well, but mainly what is aware of this not knowing. Because what is aware of this not knowing is the reality of this not knowing. This not knowing is not possible without awareness. So just stay with the awareness of the not knowing. And the not knowing, the awareness aspect of that, isn't open to whatever happens. It is openness itself. It is free of whatever happens. It is free of whatever happens. It is beyond what happens and doesn't happen. It is of a different realm than the happening realm. And it's the only reality. It is the reality that when we refer to happenings and not happenings, meaning the mind, it's the reality of the mind. But it doesn't need the mind to be the reality. It is the reality. It is the reality. It is only one reality, which is the reality of awareness.
There's a freedom there too.
It's complete freedom. Complete freedom. freedom of happenings and freedom of non-happenings. It's complete freedom. When you are in your freedom, if you like for something to happen,
Yeah.
you make it
Make it
happen.
happen,
If you don't care for anything to happen, you don't do anything. But you're still in your freedom. You don't need any happening or not. You're not open to happenings or not happening. You choose for something to happen, not happen. If you want, you see? So the creativity, all happenings, not happenings, are from the freedom of awareness.
But if, when I think of awareness, I think of, in a sense, life itself. Life.
Yes.
So why we call it beauty or peace or whatever, awareness, consciousness, we also call it life itself. And I feel that I am that life itself. And so that means that I can be irritated and angry and sick and whatever. It's all included. It's all included.
Yeah.
And from that perspective, I forgive myself for being not spiritual, having been on the spiritual path for a long time, and we think we have to be so pure, and we have to just, disgustedness, for example, oh, we won't touch that one, because that is obviously personal and so on. So the thing personal and impersonal flows in and out from that perspective. And that, because consciousness is everything. If it is everything, it's also the unpleasantness of life.
You know.
Or do I see that in the wrong way? I just...
Yeah. Unpleasantness comes from resistance, comes from the impression that things need to be in a certain way for me.
Say that again?
That things need to be in a certain way for me.
Yeah, but I don't mean unpleasantness per se. We can take such things as hate, for example.
Yeah.
Hate or anger, being.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all part of that one player that you say. It's only one player in time.
The emotions of hate, jealousy, anger, whatever. Are the separates of the impression of me as a person, as a separate consciousness, relating to something or someone or a certain situation that I'm relating to as a separate from the separate self. And so there is anger, which is in a form of resistance as well, but it's a peak. It has more volume to it, more amplitude to it, and it is the sense of limited self, of limited me, that still is operating. It's still not completely slain, not completely.
Does it have to be slain?
Well, it will naturally comes to its end as the full awakening from the dream is realized. Then there might be some little remnants here and there, but in time they will completely fade. So it's not a matter of does it need to, it's an inevitable path. In the exploration, as long as you don't stop prematurely in your inquiry, even if you stop prematurely, it will be a pause. It won't be an end of your exploration, it will be a pause. But why pause? I mean, really, what's the point? You're pausing in misery. So yes, it's an inevitable path as long as you do not pause.
Can you go forever on this path? Bodily and forever on the path.
Are we ever on the path? There is
There's a forever path that goes. I can see it now stretching out. So here, in 10 years from now, I can make $1 million deal, but I go out and the car has two, tires that are whatever. So I will not feel an anger or an excitement. I mean,
No.
it's always, why can't some of these things be accepted well, but at the same time being conscious that this is a sensation coming up?
It's very helpful. Yes, absolutely. It's very helpful to deconstruct an emotion and to realize that an emotion is made out of slightly stronger bodily sensations and the belief of a me and a you. Oh, she did that to me. Yes, it's very helpful. That's very helpful. And it's encouraged to rather than just go into the emotion, blindly, to sort of decompose it into neutral bodily sensation, because a bodily sensation is a sensation. There is a neutrality about it, and the thought that, oh, I am a me and he's a him, and that's also, to perceive that is, you can perceive it from a neutral position. You see, and that's really beautiful when you are adopting a neutral approach to whatever is arising. The neutrality in itself has a peace in it, and the neutrality brings the whole scene to peace. Because peace is very lovely, and it's our true nature. Our true nature is peace, and the screen, it's all embracing. It is not. It has no limitation, and so therefore no arguments between segments. It's unsegmented. It's whole. What you said about, is it going to take forever? It's instantaneous. It doesn't take forever. Yeah, it's just an instantaneously. It's an instantaneous yesness to you as conscious, as awareness, to you as that reality. Right now.
Yeah, right now.
Yeah, right now. Absolutely. It's always right now.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
And in that, there is no time. Very lovely to be with all of you. Thank you for your beautiful company, your presence. Very lovely.